Hey everyone, Terry here again from Remembrance Photography by Terry with Photo Tip Friday. A couple weeks ago, I asked you to get out your owner's manual, and I asked you to study it and practice it and get to know your camera. Well, last week I said that over the next few weeks, I was going to take tips for you from my own owner's manual. Now, these features are pretty typical to most cameras. And so today's tip I have decided to take is called scene modes. Most cameras have scene modes. You can find those either on the top of your camera on a dial that has little icons, or it could be in your menu. But either way, it has small icons kind of giving you an idea of what each one is for. And what they do is your camera has settings for different situations just to help you out. So my camera has 6 settings. They are, forgive me, I'll be looking down a couple of times just so that I can look at my notes, but they are portrait, landscape, child, sports, close-up, and night portrait. I'm going to go through each one of these individually to give you an idea of when they are best used. So let's start with portrait. Now that one is exactly as it sounds. It is best used in a situation where you are taking posed photos of people. And your camera will choose based on the lighting and different things the best settings to capture your best posed photos. The next one is landscape, and that again is just like it sounds. It is when you take photos of landscapes. Now, one thing you want to remember in this setting is that you want to make sure you have good lighting because your flash is typically shut off when you are using this setting. So it might not be a bad idea to use a tripod if you have a lower lights situation. The next one is child. This one again is perfect for taking photos of children. It keeps up with the motion of children and keeps a sharp picture as well as vivid colors. The next one is close-up. This is a good one when you want to get close-ups of small objects or flowers or insects or anything like that. On some cameras, you can also use a macro lens with this. You also, again, want to check your manual to be sure. With this one, you want to also try to use a tripod because that way you won't have any problems with motion blur and your photos will turn out really crisp and sharp. Then you have sports. Sports is perfect not only for sports situations, but for any situation where you have a lot of movement. It will freeze motion, and it's a great one for children for just capturing fun things. I used it one time to capture my kids sledding down a hill on a snowy day. Anyway, with this one, again, you may want to use a tripod. You don't have to, but you want to make sure you have good lighting for this one. And lastly is night portrait. Just like it sounds, it's for taking photos at night. Now this one you do need to use a tripod. This one your shutter speed is going to be very slow, so you have to have a very steady camera for this one. And you want to make sure that there isn't a lot of motion going on in your photo because it will blur. So there you go. Those are the 6 settings on my camera. Some cameras have more, some have less, but those are the 6 that are on mine. Practice with them, have fun with them, use them in different situations. And again, I would love it if you would share your photos with me at my Facebook page, Remembrance Photography by Terry. Now, ideally, you want to try to get to a point where you have control over your camera and your camera doesn't pick the settings for you. So you want to try to work towards manual mode. So tune in again next week when I will talk about a few settings that have to do with having a little more control of your camera and having it be a little more manual. So check back with me next week. And until then, have fun practicing and happy clicking.